Well, I'm guessing they're going to absolutely hate this. Let's begin. Now, of course, as we all know, with streaming being the norm these days, the TV licence is a massive pain in the bum for us all because, let's face it quite often seems like a forced tax you have to pay, especially if you want to watch TV live, even if it's from other TV channels, which have nothing to do with the BBC. I mean, who do they think they are? It's like paying Asda for the ability to shop at Tesco's. This is absolutely scandalous, but there is some good news on the horizon. It seems that the BBC's time of doing this might actually be short-lived. It's more than likely going to send them into a massive panic. So what's going on then? Well, according to this article, it says criminal prosecutions for failing to pay the BBC TV licence fee could be scrapped by Labour, which, if you think about it, not only is it about time that was happening, but it seems that Labour, after basically doing everything to pay off the entire country, have finally decided, I might do something to get back on everyone's good books. Although, it all depends on when they roll it out, doesn't it? But Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy is understood to be concerned by the disproportionate amount of women being punished. Well, at the end of the day, no one should be punished for this. The TV licence in this day and age is an outdated tax, isn't it? But it does say there was an agreement between Miss Nandy and the Justice Secretary, Shabima Mahood, that taxpayers should not have to fork out for the administrative burden. And almost 1,000 Brits are prosecuted every week for ignoring the £169.50 annual fee. It does seem, doesn't it, that the BBC think that they are entitled to get this money and that everyone should have to pay it, and that is just not the case. I'm sorry, but it isn't. There are a lot of people out there, me included, who do not pay the TV licence and don't have to because we only watch streaming services such as Netflix and the catch-up TV services apart from BBC iPlayer, and we don't watch any live TV at all, and therefore legally we don't have to pay it. And that, whether the BBC like it or not, that is something they'll have to get used to because more and more people are going to start doing it. And therefore, if you are legally not paying the TV licence, it's not evading or any other nasty language that the BBC or TV licence and actually what I say that you're doing. You're doing nothing wrong, and they will have to realise that. Apparently, though, out of these 1,000 people, 70% are women, and it says they're more than likely to be poorly paid, coping with single families or taking charge of household bills, and are also more likely to be at home when the investigators call. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally, if one of these investigators did decide to call round to my house, they'd, I'm guessing, knock on the door expecting to carry out their investigation. However, unfortunately for them, I'd just simply open the door, say, no thank you, and then close it again, and send them away with their tail between their legs. However, if you don't actually even want to answer the door, you could just ignore it or talk to them through a doorbell camera and just say no thanks. And after just waiting there for a little while, they'll eventually get the message. But quite worryingly though, an insider said last night that prosecutions will continue to at least 2027. 2027 is the year that the TV licence Royal Charter is up for renewal. And that is when all could change for TV licences. I mean, it can actually get scrapped altogether. Hopefully it will, but I'm guessing now that Labour's in charge, unfortunately, we might have a little bit longer to wait. Because if anything, I'm guessing they'll give it some sort of sunset notice period or something like that. However, I could be wrong because it says that the ministers will meet BBC bosses to explore options for new funding models, and these apparently are set to include decriminalisation. But the good news is last year nearly 500,000 people stopped paying as they opted for US-based subscription services instead, so take that BBC. And at the same time, the former Culture Secretary, Lucy Fraser, branded criminal prosecutions morally indefensible in modern day times, which is true, isn't it? But just what have the TV licence or the BBC said about this? Well, a TV licensing spokesperson said, we have a duty to enforce the law. Well, sorry, what do you think you are, the police or something? You're not Judge Dredd, you know. Dreadful, maybe, but that's about it. You are not the police. You do not have a duty to enforce the law at all. And whether you like it or not, TV licensing, your TV licensing officers are about as powerful as a pizza delivery boy. It seems like they're salespersons at the end of the day, whether you like that or not. And the only duty that you have is to pass on the money you get to the BBC so they can make programmes for the people who pay the licence fee. But they go on, they haven't finished. They also say, but we have made considerable efforts to help people get licensed and offer help and support. Our focus is on collecting the licence fee fairly and efficiently. Well, doesn't this just go to show that they think everyone should be paying it? I'm sorry, BBC or TV licensing, sorry. That is not the case. And the sooner you start realising that, the better.